rock, paper, hand grenades. We're here with the Wilson Hill Pistol Club, and Josh Solomon is my accomplice from years ago. Years ago, I got to tell this story. So years ago, Judge David Souter and the Supremes decided that it was okay to take the property of Suzette Kelo down in which part of Connecticut? What town?
New London.
New London, Connecticut. And basically, they're taking the land and giving it to a developer who was going to develop the land and build condos and stuff for the executives at Pfizer.
And make a private profit.
And make a lot of money. And so we went from John Adams, who called the ability to take people's power, eminent domain, a tyrannical power or a necessary evil, to we can just take anybody's profit and give it to our friends.
Right.
Okay, so that's what happened. And so I started a group in Ware, and I started a group specifically because I knew the media well enough to know that what the media does, in case you don't know, is instead of attacking an idea or discussing a principle or a constitutional problem, they will attack a person that is bringing forth the idea, not the idea itself. They do that all the time. You can see it with Trump now. They just call him everything. So I formed this group in Ware, and I saw Josh had written a really cool letter to the editor about it. So I called Josh, and I called Keith and Lisa and some other people, and we all got together and formed a group to try and take Judge Souter's house via eminent domain to build the Lost Liberty Hotel. And that actually was pretty fun.
It was.
He ended up on Hannity and Combs.
Twice?
Yeah. I didn't know you had twice. Oh, I was so jealous.
Oh, yeah. Sean and me go way back.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how I know Josh. That's the first time I met him was when we got together and started trying to mess with the U.S. Supreme Court Justice. But as ridiculous as that sounds, I am absolutely convinced it was because of our efforts and Ware that New Hampshire ended up with the best constitutional amendment protecting people's property rights in the nation.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a tongue-in-cheek type effort, but we kind of pursued it, at every legal avenue that we could have, as far as we could take it legally, and the end result was we angered a lot of people, both around the country and here in New Hampshire, especially close friends of Justice Souter. And the end result was that after about a year of that lobbying, we had a New Hampshire constitutional amendment added, basically strengthening the Fourth Amendment rights of eminent domain and restricting eminent domain from being used in that manner ever in this state. And as I understand it, 40 plus other state legislatures around the country actually introduced similar constitutional amendments. I don't know the status of all of them, but the fact that more than 40 states stood up and said, hey, wait a minute, this might be a problem, tells me that what we did was a success.
Yeah, it was. It was a really good success because the problem is that our country is founded, one of the building blocks of our Constitution is property ownership. If you can't work for something and own it, who's going to work for it? That's why when you hear these democratic socialists on TV who want to take away property rights, they're taking away people's desire to earn and to work, because that's what it actually the effect of what they want to do would completely undermine the principles that made us the greatest country in the world. But anyway, so Josh, that's how I know Josh. We're basically we're on a list somewhere.
We are on a list.
We are on some sort of terrorist watch list. I'm surprised we can buy a gun.
We are known, yes. So
anyway, who'd you bring with you?
So I am a member a longtime member, off and on, of the Wilson Hill Pistol Club in
They'll
Manchester.
probably get kicked out after they find that stuff
Well,
out.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what the president has to say. So, the Wilson Hill Pistol Club is a private pistol club in Manchester. We've been around for a long time. I'll let some other folks that are more familiar with the history give you a better history. I am the club secretary, and with me I've brought our president, Andre Canton, and a former president, Vince McHugh.
How you doing?
So these guys are here to talk about the club. We're talk about Second Amendment stuff and guns and.
Sure. And get a little bit of the history. We're the oldest continuing pistol club
You don't
in
want
the
to be
state.
closer to your mic.
Oh, sorry about
I
that.
can hear it.
We're the oldest continuing pistol club in the state. So
Yeah.
we'll talk a little bit about when we were founded.
Yeah, the club was established in 1935. Wilson Hill is probably the oldest and continuously operated pistol club in New Hampshire. As we're located in Manchester, as Josh was saying earlier. You drive by the place and it looks like just an older structure, and people are impressed with what we have in there. We offer a lot of safety training. The Bullseye League used to be in. The Bullseye League is still in there. We used to do the
Defensive pistol shooting.
defensive pistol there. But what was the shooting that they've been doing there for all the NAPA?
Yeah, IDPA.
Yeah.
IDPA, see, which is a defensive pistol organization. They get
Yeah.
together, practice there, do some shooting.
Will they like shoot each other, you mean?
No.
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 At targets. The goal
at
of Wilson
tar-
Hill is safe pistol ownership. We want to encourage people to own their guns safely, to shoot them. A lot of education. We do a lot of safety training there.
Do you, well, one of my people on Facebook asked me, is it like a elite club? Like, do you let the Irish join, or?
Well, speak of the devil, they let me in. I wouldn't join a club that would have somebody like me as a member.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't think we've ever had somebody come in and stand up and tell them a little bit about ourselves that didn't get voted into the club. I've been there 23 years. I've never seen it happen.
Yeah, so we're, unlike other private clubs in the state, a lot of the fish and game clubs, they have caps on membership. We don't have a cap on our membership, so anyone can apply to join. And
Do you have to know somebody?
You don't have to know anybody.
Because I belong to Goffstown Fish and Game, and you have to actually have a sponsor.
Right.
You have to have references, and I got in anyway. But
No, we have our club meetings on the first Wednesday of every month, and
Yeah.
anyone is welcome to come.
Except July and August.
Except for July and August.
We take those
we take the
months
summer
off.
off. Everybody's usually on vacation. And like Vince says, we haven't, I don't recall ever denying anyone membership.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
we have, there are incidents, you get any number of people together and a percentage is going to be bad. And so, we have
Right.
had to give warnings and
Sure.
and things like that in the past. But we don't discriminate on membership at
so
all.
when like somebody starts doing this, hey, check this out.
Yeah, that's- we
Yeah,
frown
yeah,
on
yeah.
that.
They frown on that?
That's a red flag. Yeah,
Safe pistol ownership.
yeah.
Safe. Safe's a big word.
If you can purchase a firearm legally, you're most likely not going to have any problems joining Wilson Hill.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Do you have any or has there been any effort to reach out to women to start training? Because I know the Women's Defense League and stuff
Great
like
point.
that.
We've actually worked with the Women's Defense League early on when they were the Second Amendment Sisters.
Yeah.
They used to meet at our club.
Oh yeah, okay.
And even when they were the Women's Defense League for a period of time, we got great respect for what they do, and they're encouraging women to join the shooting sports. Anything that encourages people to join the shooting sports, we're for. And we see them at a lot of the shows we do.
Yeah, we do, and we do have NRA and safety certified instructors.
Right?
As
Safety, too.
we do teach the NRA Women on Target class.
Okay,
Which is
okay.
a women-only defensive class. So yeah, this is an all-inclusive.
So yeah, the club does a lot of different things to try to encourage the shooting sports. One of my favorite things we did, I think this might have been Andre's idea, but it was try it before you buy it. We let people come
Oh,
in
cool.
and try pistols. And you know, I had a couple from Massachusetts I was personal friends with, and they said they wanted to buy a Walther PBK. She was set on it. That was the gun she
Oh
wanted.
yeah, 'cause she watched 007.
Until she handled it and how stiff that action was, and said, you know, I think I like the car a whole lot better. She didn't even know what a car was, not CAR, KAHR.
Right.
And she shot that gun and said that was the gun she was going to.
Those are nice little guns.
Yeah, we had one guy come in and had hands like ham hocks. And he
Right.
picked up these little guns and couldn't get his fingers in them. So he handled a full-size semi-automatic
Yeah.
pistol. And he realized he needed a bigger gun to be able to fit his hand.
Yeah.
So it was a great day. We had a wonderful time. And our members loved to talk about the firearms they own. Those all donated firearms to try.
Wow.
And we even donated the ammunition. We're pretty good that way.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool because I know when I was first looking into firearms, I would have liked to have tried a few.
Absolutely.
Because for instance, somebody talked me out of a 44 Magnum because the recoil was going to be too great.
It's a big gun.
And once I owned the 44 Magnum, I said, wow, wish I bought that first.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
They really are.
44 is wicked
Clears
cool.
the range when you shoot it.
Oh, really?
You shoot all by yourself.
We went because me and my brother went to a bowling
Yeah.
pin shoot or
Oh,
something
my.
or something like that. But it was
Yeah.
at the indoor range before Wolf. It was over that near the airport,
Oh, yeah, okay.
and my brother and I were loading our own ammo.
Wow.
You know how, for people who don't know, well, if you're reloading your own ammo, you start looking for signs of pressure. And on a revolver, it's easy to see because the higher the pressure gets, the more the primer gets flattened out. And if the primer's like rounded after you shoot it, you can see it's all rounded near the cup. You know that it's pretty low pressure. If it's like completely flat, you're really at the top end of that pressure curve.
Got to be careful.
So we just always went a little bit further than we knew they were almost maxed out, and my brother unloaded with his gun. It's just you see the glass kind of flexing and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
But
All of a sudden, a
anyway,
bunch of people realized they had somewhere else to be.
yeah, this is wow.
You know,
Yeah, we were a little nuts.
it'd be good to have people try that because I know there's a lot of people if they tried that they wouldn't want to shoot again. It's a
Yeah,
very
well-
powerful gun.
Well, even the smaller guns, like I've got an LC9,
Right.
okay, or an LCP.
Sure.
And an LCP is a tiny little gun.
Yeah.
And you would think, well, it's tiny, so it's not going to kick much. It hurts because
Yeah.
it's
Oh, 'cause it's so
a
small.
very small.
Agreed. Yeah. The little
Back
guns
strap.
can really.
So it digs into the web of your hand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've had-
being able to try them,
It just bites you right there.
right.
Right
You know,
there
if
when
you-
that hammer
Yeah.
comes back.
like I'm willing to bet because Ruger came out with the LC9 in 380.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
And I'm willing to bet if people wanted something comfortable to shoot and protect themselves, that's
Right.
probably about where they would be.
Yeah, yeah. I actually took my wife out looking for pistols because I travel. I go on business trips, and I didn't want to leave her home by herself. In fact, she asked me about it, and when I took her out, I took her to one of the gun stores. I think it was Shooter Outpost. It was a Friday night. It looked like date night.
Yeah.
All these couples in there looking at firearms. So I took out. I think we looked at one of the Lady Smith and Wesson. I put it in her hand. And she said that was the first time she'd ever handled a gun. And I was shocked because she grew up in New Hampshire.
Right.
She raised her kids in Vermont. I thought she was married to a guy who I know was a shooter, so I thought they would have taught her how to shoot, but she really never learned to shoot. And I took her down to Wilson Hill Pistol Club. We taught her safety, taught her how to handle her firearm, and she's a lot more comfortable now. And she was the LCR is what I got her, the Ruger
Yeah.
LCR with the little laser. She likes the little laser point because it makes her know that that's where the bullet's going to go.
Right,
if she
right.
pulls the trigger. So
Yeah, but being able to try out handguns before you buy them is pretty great. It saves you a lot of because most people don't have that much money to buy a gun,
right.
and so you
Right.
buy a gun, then you shoot it twice, and it hurts. So you
Right.
never pick it up again.
Right.
So you're defenseless because you don't.
It defeats the purpose too of us. You know, when we let people come and try guns, they will eventually go and buy one that's right for them, and that's half the battle. Is just finding something that fits your hand. Like you said, doesn't hurt when I shoot it. You know, a lot of people, might be a 22, might be their first gun, and that is a great gun to learn how to shoot with. It doesn't
Yeah.
hurt at all, generally speaking.
Right.
You know.
And that's what you try to have all of the students and, and people that never shot before, I mean, start them out small and let them work their way up with something that's larger, you
Sure.
know? I mean, when they feel comfortable, they'll move up, you
Yep.
know? And, when you get this woman that was looking for protection, her husband had passed away, and she went down to one of the ranges, and the guy was trying to sell her a 45, and I says, she got just very small hands. I says, that thing's going to come back and hit you in the head, I mean, you got to start out with something smaller and work your way up to it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And she fell in love with the 38, and that's where she's been, and she's very happy with it.
And that's plenty. I mean,
Sure.
that was the standard issue for law
For years.
enforcement for,
Yep.
for decades.
Right.
It's nothing wrong with it,
Functional.
especially for something that you don't ever plan on using because you're not
Right.
going out there looking for trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
It's there in case of an emergency. So
Yeah, I can't even see well enough anymore to look for trouble. You know what I'm saying?
It's when it finds you that you have the problem. You know?
Yeah, I think one of the things that over the years has aggravated me more than well, I can't say anything else. Is also Nancy Pelosi, but is you'll watch online and there'll be some guy who wants to teach his girlfriend to shoot, and he'll give him like a small 12 gauge with slugs, and you see the girl fall over.
They think it's funny, but
They
it's
think
really
it's super
not.
funny, but it's horrible.
Somebody did that to my wife my first wife when I was married. It was a friend of mine actually. They gave her a 44 Magnum to shoot, her first gun to shoot, and they had to bet whether she'd drop it or not. Well, she didn't drop it, but she started crying after she shot it.
It's absolutely
and it took
not
me
safe at all.
decades to get her over that bad experience. So
Yeah, 'cause
it's not right.
No. 44 Magnum should be tried after you've tried a 22. You feel good about that. 38, you're still good. 357,
Sure.
you're still cooking. Then try a 44.
Sure,
but-
sure. And 9mm has been so popular now. If you load them right, too, they're very effective. We all hope we never have to draw our weapon. I don't think anybody who carries wants to draw their weapon. You have it because of those situations. Too often you hear about people getting shot, home invasions.
Yeah.
So a lot of us have decided to carry to protect ourselves and our family. Nobody ever wants to have to draw the weapon if they don't have to.
Could somebody call Wilson and ask to be trained? Or how's that
We
work?
do a lot of training. I mean, we have, in fact, our website's probably the best place to go. That's wilsonhillpistol.org.
Yeah.
And if you go out there, you're going to see a calendar with training schedules. We mentioned Al. Al MacArthur is our trainer, is our chief trainer. We have several. Al's has so many certificates. He looks like a Korean War general. He's got to go all the way down, his pants. He's got phenomenal
Have you
certificates.
seen the North Korean generals?
Yeah, they go. They come and they go down
They've
there all the
never
way down
been
his
to
leg.
war. They've
Yeah.
never been to war, and
Yeah.
they got like 20 pounds of medals.
Yeah, I don't know if Al's ever been to war, but he's been trained by some of the best people in the country, and he's done some wonderful classes. We offer even a law day class, which is we did it with a simulator the last time where you literally had a scenario unfold before you, and you had to decide whether to shoot or don't shoot.
Right.
I learned that maybe it's good to watch a little bit longer before you shoot. I didn't do so well in that simulation. I shot someone that I shouldn't have shot, and thankfully it was a simulation.
Right, yeah,
But
that's good, yeah.
I didn't know what I was seeing. I thought I was seeing someone about to be executed. It turned out to be a cop was taking down a bad guy.
Oh,
So that was a bad situation, but I learned something, and that's
Right.
really
Yeah.
what we do those on the law day.
It's how fast a split second is,
Right.
I mean, in real scenario, I mean, you have, nanoseconds of trying to figure out whether if it's a good shot or a bad shot,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
you want to stay on the right side of everything,
yeah, I think that's the problem is especially even with cops.
Right.
They've got a nanosecond to try to figure out what's going on, how to react to it
Right.
appropriately, and then you have 8 hours of courtroom,
Right. Slow motion.
slow motion,
Second
dissecting that
Right.
nanosecond, and
Right.
it's
yeah,
It's
so
hard.
so that's one of the more interesting things. A lot of clubs and ranges have instructors, and they have a whole catalog of courses that they offer for different levels. And but Al is certified to teach this law class
Yeah.
with the simulator, and basically kind of review what are the local laws, what are generally the federal laws, and the things that you need to think about there, and as a resource to club members, he's also certified to be an expert witness. Right. So if anyone as a member of the club were to get into trouble, Al is there for us to help out with any legal issues as well. So that's a good benefit. I
You
think.
guys got like the simulator they used in Men in Black?
No, not that good.
Not exactly
I remember that was such a
sophisticated.
great scene.
It is pretty good. It actually interacts back with how whatever you do changes what happens in the scene in front of you.
Oh, it does?
It actually is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it does adjust itself. So you could actually go and have that particular scene play out in front of you, and then 10 minutes later, what looks like exactly the same scene play out in front of you, but behind the scenes, the computer is randomly switching it up.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
And so it may be a completely different, and it's a matter of you paying attention to all the details, and maybe this one little item is just enough different to make the decision.
Well,
whether or
I
not
know
to-
that as far as legality, I know there's a huge difference. I was waiting for my grandson in the alley behind my daughter's apartment, and this group of people walked by, and I was looking because I stare at people. I stare at everything. I just
creepy old man.
I am wicked. I do. I mean, I can sit there and when I was working in the machine shop, I'd be sit there like this, and the guys would go, "What the heck are you staring at?" So, well, I'm really not staring at anything. I'm just thinking. And so anyway, so this guy thought I was staring at his girlfriend or something, and his girlfriend really wasn't worth staring at. I didn't say that. Anyway, so he comes up into my face and starts screaming at me.
Oh man.
I think he's. I would assume it's probably a crystal methadone problem, because he's just way too angry and for something that never happened. You
Sure.
know. And so I got my hand on my pistol. It's in my pocket, and I'm just saying. He said, "What are you doing?" and all this. So I'm waiting for my grandson. I just chilled out.
De-escalate.
I de-escalate.
Right,
Just calm
that's a
down.
great skill.
Instead of getting upset about it.
Right.
But I had my hand on my gun because I don't know what this frickin' moron's going to do.
Sure.
And it was funny because I was in the alley. I was like a step in the alley, and I was talking to my local cops because I was after the fact. I go, "What is the legal thing?"
Right.
Because I'm an old guy. If he starts beating the crap out of me, death is pretty
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
So
because of the
protecting
difference-
myself is
yeah.
because of the difference in age and stuff. And he said, "Well, if you had stepped 1 foot back onto the property of the apartment, into the parking lot of the apartment, you'd be in a lot safer ground as far as defending yourself
Interesting,
in court.
Yeah.
In the house, it's a whole different issue altogether.
Yeah.
If you can invite people over to your house and then shoot them and say, yeah, they broke in.
We
I do
frown
that
on
all.
that.
I do all the time.
We frown on that.
Hey, you want to come over tomorrow night?
No, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. One of the
I'm
greatest.
just
Brenda,
joking.
I'll take a rain check.
One of the greatest things I learned in the law day class
Yeah.
was a phrase called life over property. That even the life of a criminal is more valuable than your property. You cannot shoot somebody if they're stealing your car, unless your children are in the car. Now
Right.
it's kidnapping. The only times kidnapping, rape, and arson are like 3 of the exceptions typically,
Right.
where deadly force, because they usually end in death.
Right.
That's what. But generally speaking, your property can be replaced. Someone's life can't. So life over property is a good rule of thumb if you're not sure.
Yeah, I was talking to my neighbor. I've been teaching her to shoot because she
Nice.
lives there alone. She's a wonderful lady, and I was talking to her about defending yourself. I said, somebody comes into your property and breaks the window of that car. You can call the cops, but you can't shoot them.
Right.
You can't kill somebody because they're messing up your car.
No.
If
Right.
they're in your house and they start breaking stuff in your house and you're afraid for your life,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
you can plug them all you want. But yeah, the idea of killing somebody because your BMW is getting scratched is.
Let it go. You got insurance. That's what insurance is
I mean,
for.
if it's a Mercedes, I think you can get it.
Oh, yeah.
Only in
Right.
Germany.
Only
Yeah.
in Germany.
Yeah, no.
So how'd you guys get involved?
That's a good question. For me, I used to live on the corner of Candia Road and Lakeshore, that's where we're at 1732 Lakeshore Road.
Right.
And when I first moved in there 23 years ago, 24 years ago, I went looking for the club. I heard there was a gun club on that street.
Yeah.
I must have drove by it a half dozen times. I thought it was an abandoned building at first. It looks much better now than it did back then. The new board members, I'll give them a plug, have really taken care of the club. But my wife saw the door open, saw somebody in there, and we realized what it was. I've been going there. I've been a member for 23 years now.
Wow.
I know you're thinking he doesn't look that old, but
No, I was. I was absolutely convinced you were easily. So,
there you go. So yeah, no, I've been going there originally from Brooklyn, New York. So I didn't do a lot of shooting when I grew up.
no, you wouldn't have.
You know.
What got you involved in the Second Amendment at all?
So
Because they usually go together, not necessarily.
they do. I mean, mostly they do. If you want to shoot, you usually want to be able to keep that. I went to Chicago. Ended up living next to the guy who became my best man at my wedding. Was very into shooting, and he got me involved in Chicago. So I began to shoot a little bit there. When I got back to New Hampshire, I moved to New Hampshire. Followed a girl in New Hampshire, so I got here. You know, I ended up wanting to have a firearm in the house, so I bought my first one was a
44
Ruger,
Magnum.
No, Ruger 357, Security 6. That was my first pistol. It's a fun-
No. What was the one? Yeah, I think
They
that's
had
the
the
one I
Speed
had.
6 too. Was another.
No, I think that's the one I had.
Yeah, it was great.
My
Had
first,
adjustable.
my first pistol was a Security 6.
It was a great little
It
pistol.
was right
very
before the
reliable.
SP1,
Yes, GP.
the GP100.
You're right.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good pistol.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah, they worked real well.
I
So,
beat that up pretty good.
and then about 10 years later, I bought a shotgun, and now I have a small collection compared to these guys. I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't necessarily have a large.
What's a collection? Define a collection.
We're not live, are we? I'm not telling anybody how many I have.
No.
No, not at all.
No, neither am I. You know,
You know, your biggest fear is your biggest fear that one day your wife will sell your guns for what you told her they cost.
That's right. Yeah, that or your fishing poles, right?
yeah. Hopefully that don't happen.
Yeah. Well, you'll be dead, so at that point it won't really matter to you.
This
Yeah,
is
it's
true.
still-
This
it's
is
Your
still-
friends will benefit, though.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably it. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's only worth $100.
Yeah.
You offered.
Hopefully you
to-
got better friends than that, right?
No,
That
I
take care of your wife.
don't.
No, your friends will
No.
take advantage of you.
Oh, absolutely,
There you
yeah.
Yeah. there you
So
go.
how'd you get involved in all this?
Well, father used to go out shooting a little bit, and he had an old revolver. I want to say it was probably maybe a Henry 22 revolver, and
Wow.
you know we just were fascinated with it. And then he bought an old J.C. Higgins 22 semi-automatic rifle, which we wore out, which I'd never thought a 22 would ever wear out. And we shot that thing. Must have been, 10 million rounds we must have put through it, you know.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
and we've been hooked on them ever since, you know. So, things moved on. We moved on and, things went on with life and moved away and came back into it and just started, shooting again, and it was just a lot of fun,
Yeah,
I mean,
it is. It is fun.
it's like riding a bicycle, you get back into it again, I mean, and it's long distance shooting and who you can shoot for and, weren't
Yeah,
many
didn't you-
chipmunks in the yard at the time, I mean, it was good back then,
Didn't you just qualify at 600 yards?
Yeah, I,
That's a heck of a shot.
600-yard qualifying at Pelham Fish and Game, and, most of us belong to many other clubs.
Sure.
It's, that was a lot of fun. We got caught in the rain, and and when the other team came out, they had the sun, and every time we went out to go shoot, we were in the rain.
Wow.
I mean, so it was quite cold at the end of the day.
Was now 600 yards?
6 football fields.
Yeah,
Yeah. So 6 football fields, 600 yards was 1,007. So it's a third of a mile.
yeah.
Nice shot.
That's pretty far. How because I always know that, especially at 100 yards, doesn't make a lot of difference. If the wind is bad or something like that, it can
Little
throw
bit.
you. It's the difference between hitting the bullseye and being in the black, but it's not that big a deal.
Sure.
But at 600 yards, how much did the rain affect your shot?
The rain didn't really affect the shooting too much, I mean, but we were averaging about 6 feet over the time you set up your scope and all of that, you were about 6 feet over the top of your target.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
at 600 yards.
it's great.
And that you don't think the rain had any wasn't a variable?
Subsonic ammunition, you know. I mean, you'd see the dirt move before you hear the shot, you know.
Wow.
So that was quite fun, you know.
Wow. What caliber?
I was shooting a 6.5 Creedmoor.
Okay, yeah, everybody's shooting those things now, huh?
Yeah,
Very popular.
yeah.
Yeah. I did a 300-yard shot with a 7mm Magnum. That was fun, but that thing kicks. That was
Oh, that's wicked bad.
yeah. That's what they shoot the big sheep up on the mountains on. They use something like that for that. You'll get a nice long shot with that.
You know what I always wanted to get? One day I'll get it. Is a 270.
Yeah, those nice. That's nice. I have a couple of
Yeah.
guys I hunt with 270s.
270s, like because it's pretty flat shooting,
Right.
but I don't think it kicks
It
like
does
a
not kick near as
mule.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be a lot of fun. So.
I get yeah. Go ahead.
That's the thing I think about the fun of shooting. You know, we're looking to have new younger members. Our average club age is probably on the older side, and I think a lot of people, young people, they don't know that there's a place to go where you could shoot safely, and that's really what we emphasize. We want to teach people how to shoot safely. If they do that, they'll have years of fun. You can teach. I've taught my children how to shoot. I've taught my niece, other people who've wanted to learn. But safety is always the first thing we teach people.
Well, I think the problem is because I think everybody has that. A lot of, especially guys, but women too, have that desire to shoot. But there's so many kids that are doing that, playing video games.
Right.
And people listening today, you really should actually learn how to really shoot. If you're going to play
Yeah.
video games, you really should have a clue what it's actually like, as opposed to,
Sure.
360 no scoping people and.
Everything you've learned on TV is wrong.
Yeah.
It really does hurt when someone gets shot.
Yeah.
Well, I like
you
on
don't get a replay.
yeah, you don't get a replay.
Yeah.
I like on some of the movies and stuff. I think one of my kids asked me, he says, "Why does he hold his gun like
Oh,
this?"
it's terrible.
I
That's
says,
a kill shot.
I said, "Cause he's an idiot."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never been trained.
No,
So.
but it's there's all kinds of stuff people do that are. But yeah, I think it's pretty awesome that you have a place where if you have some of the younger people listening that want
Yeah,
to learn.
We'd love them to contact us to want to maybe take a class, or even if you just want to come down and see the club, or if there's somebody who wants to try out a pistol, we'll work with people. We'll try to help them out. It's a great club. I've got a great love for the club. Very proud of our safety record and how many people we've put through safety training. I mean, there's been hundreds and hundreds of people in the years I've been there have sat through safety training at Wilson Hill Pistol Club.
Yeah, because firearms and shooting is wicked fun.
Really is.
As long as you understand where the
Right.
it's like my grandson went up to the Hidden Valley, the Boy Scout camp, and he was supposed to do shotgun. He's 13.
Oh,
He's supposed to do
that's great.
shotgun, and but they had too many kids, so he got booted out because he's only 13.
Oh,
So they did all the 14-year-olds because they had too many.
Yeah. He must have been disappointed.
Yeah, but I brought him out back and let him shoot the 12 gauge because
Nice.
he's big enough now.
Yeah.
Kid, little jerk's taller than me, and what I told him is just keep an eye on everybody else. You know better than, because one of the things people do when they're just learning is they have the gun and they turn to talk to somebody.
Muzzle control, yeah.
Yeah,
terrible.
muzzle control is huge.
Yeah, big finger discipline, muzzle control. You see some of these pictures and there's somebody got their finger on. It drives me crazy. I see more people now with their finger out straight when they're holding a firearm, because you don't put your finger on the trigger till you're ready to shoot it, and you don't put that until it's on target. It's one
Yeah.
of the things we learned. But muzzle control, I've had people turn towards me with a gun in their hand, and no thanks, I like my stomach. We don't want that pointed at me.
And even if you know muzzle control, you still have to pay attention to range officers. I know
Right.
I got in trouble at a place where shooting fully automatic.
Right.
I forget what it was. I think it was an AK. And my dad was a jarhead, drill instructor in the Marines.
Wow.
Okay? So no matter what happens, that gun's pointed in a safe direction. He does. You would get your head just about knocked off
Sure.
if that gun started wandering. And so I'm at the place shooting, and I shoot, and then I go like this. He goes, and the instructor because he wants me to point down range no matter
All
what.
the time, okay.
But as soon as I get done shooting, it goes back up.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to get. When you have a drill instructor drum something
Sure.
into your head, it's
Correct.
pretty
I
tough.
tend to hear Al's voice in my head when I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You mentioned semi-automatics, fully automatics. We should talk a little bit about the difference because you hear a lot, someone will say, well, we should ban automatic weapons.
Right.
Well, in the 30s, they passed a law that you can't own a fully automatic or what we call a machine gun unless you have a special tax stamp. It's
Yeah.
most people don't want to spend the money for that, but you can get it if you want. A semi-automatic is just like a revolver in that one pull of the trigger fires one bullet down range.
Yeah.
It just reloads the next one so you can pull the trigger again, but it's really no faster than even a revolver, say, firing.
Well, it's funny. I have 3 different rifles that shoot the same round, 223. The 223 is basically a 22 long rifle on steroids.
Right, a lot of powder behind
A
it.
lot of powder, same caliber bullet. And the 223 is actually, when it was first used, I think it was a 222 by Remington, and it was basically a for shooting woodchucks and coyotes.
Varmints.
It was a varmint gun. And they upped the powder level a little bit and came out with a 223, and the military adopted it.
Right.
And but anyway, the 223, the cartridge itself is not that substantial.
Right.
But I have that in a bolt action. If I I was thinking of bringing some guns in, but it was raining. But I get 3 guns. One's a bolt action.
Yep.
Tikka. It shoots a 223. The other is a Ruger Mini 14
Yeah.
that shoots a 223. And then I have an AR-15 that shoots a 223.
The scary black
The
rifle.
scary black rifle. It's all the same
Same gun.
round.
There you go.
The same lethality.
Right.
Yeah.
But the bolt action requires you to cycle the bolt
Sure.
every time. The Mini 14 is just as lethal, or is just as almost exactly the same thing as the AR-15.
Absolutely,
But
yeah.
it looks like a hunting rifle.
Right.
But it
That's
still
scary.
takes 30-round magazines,
Right.
and so yeah, it's all optics based, or
Basically, most of the laws that have passed have been optical laws, and a lot of times when we're talking about laws, I always ask someone, would the law you want to pass would have prevented a shooting that happened recently? And almost to the time, no. They want to pass laws that make people feel good. I mean, what I've always advocated is we should harden our schools. Treat our schools like we do our courts. Judges never get shot in court. Right? We should do the same thing in our schools. Make it so you can't get in, and if you do, there's somebody in there that can protect your kids.
yeah, it's
It's education. It's education. It's respect for what the firearm is and what its purpose is, and it's tough to see the world the way it is right now.
Sure.
I'm a little bit younger than all of you, and so I
What's
went to
that
high
supposed to mean?
I went to high school in the '80s, and my high school had a rifle range in the basement of the main building.
That's amazing.
We
yeah.
had a rifle club.
Yeah.
We had students who would come to school on a school bus
Wow.
with a .22 rifle slung on their back. That was in the '80s. That
They
was
arrest you
before the
today.
school shooting,
Yeah,
right?
right.
But that's where we've come. We've come to this period where the population is not being educated properly, and there's no respect,
Right.
and there's also a whole lot of misinformation
Sure.
that's emanating, and so we have an entire generation of folks who don't understand that how to understand or respect a firearm.
And those are the people we want to meet. We're hoping that those people are watching, that we'll get a chance to meet them, invite them to the club. Maybe we'll do another try it before you buy it day, or we'll just, if people want to learn, contact us. Go out to our website. Meet us at the gun shows. We do gun shows here in New Hampshire.
yeah. I think I've seen you at the gun shows.
It's a lot of fun. We have time. We talk to people about the club. We talk to people about the firearms. We usually have a raffle going on. We raffled off, giving away a lot of nice firearms. But I talk to people about, they call it the gun show loophole. I said, what is that? Well, you can buy a gun at a gun show without getting a background check. I go, really? I said, you should come to the gun show with me. Ever been to a gun show? They go, no. I go, you should come with me. I'll take you. You try to do it. I want to see you do that.
I'll pay for your entrance
That's right.
fee,
I will pay.
and
I
you
would
see
pay.
if you can possibly buy a firearm without
Right.
a
Can't be done.
background check. Yeah, it's all BS.
Yeah, it can't be done.
No.
But we work the shows because we want to promote the club. We want to be able to meet people, like-minded people, and even people who aren't like-minded. If they come to the show and they ask questions, they'll learn things about safe firearm shooting, which is what most of the people there are promoting.
Well, I have some really liberal constituents in Ware, which it's hard to believe, but we have a couple. And one of them was talking about, we got to get rid of the gun show loophole. I says, what loophole? Well, you can just buy guns. No, you cannot. Nobody can do that.
Yeah, I've actually bought guns at gun shows, and I always get an instant background check.
Of course you do.
I've never been to that gun show they talk about.
No.
But-
In fact, what a lot of people don't know, is in New Hampshire, it's illegal to sell a handgun to somebody you don't know.
Right.
Yeah, like if you've ever seen a handgun at a yard sale, that's illegal. You can't
Yeah.
do that. I mean, unless you have it at the yard sale and you know your neighbor's coming over to buy it,
Right. Someone you know.
somebody you actually know, you can't
Yeah.
sell a
Yeah,
handgun.
you'd have to go to a dealer and get a background check on that person before
Yeah.
you sold it, and that's why there really is no loophole. It's illegal to sell guns without that.
And the other one they claim is a loophole is you can buy them online. What they don't understand is, yes, you can buy it online, but if I buy a gun from Gunbroker, it goes to, say, Riley's.
Right.
And then I go to Riley's and I pay them, I don't know how many dollars, and they do a background check, then I can
Exactly.
take possession of the gun.
Right.
So yes, you can buy guns online, but you're still going through a background check
Can't
through a
pick 'em
license.
up.
You can't pick them
The
up.
transfer has to go through
Right, exactly.
An
licensed-
FFL,
an
yeah.
Yeah, they don't
licensed
send it to your
individual,
house and
Right.
And that's how we do our raffles too. So
Correct.
Same
we
thing.
do hold raffles as fundraisers, and the winner of those raffles always goes through an FFL for a background check.
And we've
So-
had quite a few winners, and we've had some female winners, and they were, oh, I've never won anything, I mean, and I said, all it takes is one ticket to win,
There you
I
go.
mean,
Yeah.
and as Vince would say, he says it's the cheapest gun you'll ever purchase, I mean,
I say that to the wives. These are the guys
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
"That's the cheapest gun he's ever going to bring home for $10. You
Right.
can't get
Yeah.
it cheap, and you get a story with it.
Right,
That's pretty
exactly.
good,
Yeah.
Actually, I won this belt from Mitch Rosen at one of our earlier gun raffles years ago.
Yeah.
Mitch Rosen's
he makes.
here in town.
Yeah, I know. He makes some nice stuff.
He really does. He does.
Yeah.
He does good work. So we can
He used to
promote
make, what do you call it? Holsters for Ruger too. I don't know if he still
He
does
did,
it.
actually, he did mine. I had a. He laughed a little bit. I said because I won this $100 gift certificate, and so I wanted a holster and a belt, and I said, well, I have a Ruger. What do I have? The 95 with the decocker on it. And he goes, I said, can you make one for that? And he said, I don't know if I have any. You might have to leave the pistol. And he went back. Oh, I got it. I have it. I can make that one. So he made it's a beautiful holster. I still have it today. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it
he does.
good-
He does wicked nice stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. One of the other things Al promotes a lot is having concealed carry insurance.
Yeah.
There's such a desire for some prosecutors to want to persecute people who carry that if you ever find yourself in a situation where you have to draw and protect yourself, concealed carry insurance takes care of the legal bill for you.
Oh, really?
So a lot of us, a lot of people who carry will have concealed carry insurance. It's not super expensive, $20 a month ballpark.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that, you don't want to end up losing all of your savings, your house, because there's somebody, a local prosecutor decides they want to make an example of you.
Because that is actually true. Because they do some horrible things. I know when I was first into reloading, I was reading some magazine,
Right.
and they said the guy said never use reloaded ammunition for self-protection.
Right.
I said, why? My reloaded stuff's better than the stuff I can buy at the store. And the answer was because when you go to court, even though you're reloading because you like reloading,
Sure.
and it's just fun,
Yeah.
and you make some pretty great stuff, what's going to happen in court is going to be perception. And the perception is they're going to try to paint you as somebody that is so nuts
and gung ho
and gung ho that
Right.
you're making your own ammo that can kill people more efficiently.
Yeah, they're saying the same thing about modifying your weapon.
I've heard that too.
Especially your carry weapon, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You want your carry weapon and your carry ammo to be commercial and unmodified. Because someone puts "live free or die" has it engraved on their gun. You're painted as someone who,
Right.
or another popular one is the Punisher, the image of the Punisher. They want
Oh,
to have
yeah.
that on the
I never
backstrap,
thought
or
of that,
on the
yeah.
backstrap or whatnot. So you see yourself as a vigilante. So that's why you pulled the trigger as fast as you did.
Yeah.
And so that's something that again. Is something that can get you into a lot of trouble, and so concealed carry insurance is important. It bails you out. It pays for your lawyer. It gets you all of the counseling you need in case of
Sure.
an actual shooting. And
Expert
so
witnesses.
it's an important thing to have if you're going to really protect yourself and your family.
Counseling's huge.
Yeah.
Because you shoot somebody, even if you're justified, it's going to mess with your head for a
It is. It is.
yeah.
Unless you've actually been there, you have to realize that taking a life is not an easy thing, even if you know that it was the right thing to do.
Sure.
World War II. I think it was World War II. They started investigating soldiers that went into the beaches in the Pacific or wherever. And I don't remember what the exact number is, but let's just say this for argument's sake. They found out that only about 10% of the soldiers, trained soldiers, could actually level their gun and point and shoot at another human being.
Really. That's
Right. And Civil War, same thing. And most of the reason there was so much death is because I would point at you and then move to the side and shoot. So there was so much shooting because a lot of the killing was random because people can't spiritually, I think,
Sure. It's a very hard thing to do.
hard thing to do. And so that's why by Vietnam, they went to, when they practiced, they do those pop-up targets so that your shooting was like reaction. It was
Right,
like
right. Reflex.
almost a reflex shooting as opposed to
Sure.
thinking about what you were actually doing. But so shooting another human being is,
Yeah, we all hope we never, ever have to do that. That's nobody who carries, I know. I'm one of the politest people on the planet if I'm carrying concealed.
What you talking about, Vince?
Except for him.
yeah, right.
But, I don't, someone cuts me off, have a nice day. An armed society is a very polite society.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
because the ramifications of pulling that gun.
even if you're the one who pulls the trigger, your life's going to change forever.
Yeah,
So, and
Yeah.
that's why we don't want, none of us want to do that, so.
yeah, and the way I shoot the person I pull it on, their life's not going to change at all. But
Hey, do you want to talk a little bit about our what's coming up this weekend on the
Yeah, this
seminar we're doing
weekend-
for free?
This weekend we have a Refuse to be a Victim seminar, and it's a 4-hour seminar that's going to be provided, information topics of mental awareness of your surroundings, of your areas, preparedness, home security, physical security, travel, cybersecurity, self-defense, a little bit training, automobile security. When Christmas is coming up pretty soon, so you'll be coming from the malls pretty soon, and a lot of people aren't paying attention of their surroundings, or they're holding their bags and they're trying to text at the same time, and, so that makes them an easy target, be aware of your surroundings, and, this way here, you're not going to become a statistic, because only you yourself can help yourself,
Yeah, I think it's really important because as anybody knows that living in Manchester, there's a lot of kids out there on the streets that are doing drugs. And when you
Unfortunately, yeah.
and when you're doing that kind of drugs, especially the meth and stuff like that,
Heroin.
with the meth particularly,
Yeah.
is it makes people very angry.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're not thinking clearly.
Right.
So they might attack you even though you've never done anything to them, and for no reason whatsoever, other than something that went off in their mind
Sure.
that doesn't make any, rational person would do it. But you have to be prepared to defend yourself and your family against people that are not thinking rationally. They're not
Sure.
presuming that everybody thinks like you do is a mistake.
Right. And what does this seminar cost people?
This seminar is going to actually be free for anybody that wants to attend.
Still have
If-
tickets, right?
Well, what we're asking is that if people go to Eventbrite to reserve their tickets, I mean, just go in and just say, if you want 2 tickets, 3 tickets, 4 tickets, just go in, sign up, print out your ticket, present it to the door, come in, and and we're having this at the American Legion at the Henry J. Sweeney Post of 251 Maple Street in Manchester. They let us borrow their hall because it's a lot larger than what our hall is, and and we're trying to promote safety again for everything, I mean, everybody, and, it doesn't matter, male, female, teenagers. The whole object is be aware of your surroundings and don't become a statistic or a victim,
So we got to bail out. So how can they get in touch with about this and everything else?
So if you go to the website, wilsonhillpistol.org is probably the best way to
Okay.
get a hold of us.
Facebook, you're on
We're on
Facebook.
Facebook as well.
Yep.
Yeah, contact, or come by the first Wednesday of every month, starting in September, 7:30, we're at the club. It's a 1732 Lakeshore Road in Manchester.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Josh, nice seeing you again, you crazy man.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having
Nice
us.
to have somebody else that's on one of the lists.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you guys next week.